Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Worry about my posse getting jumped. Cause if we ever do, yo, TB, pop the trunk. Cause we make a pop the trunk and hit the switch.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom. So let me pull you guys behind the curtain. Jalen Rose is supposed to be here every day at a certain time. Jalen Rose isn't always here at a certain time. But today, we have Marcus Spears, so we're starting the show without him.
It's all love, bro. First of all, I've been seeing your handshakes. They've been bad, but that was a good one.
That was all right.
We didn't make noise. He'll do it again. That still ain't make noise, but it's good.
I don't snap afterwards.
You got good hands.
I got very clammy hands. Right now they feel good. They keep the studio nice and cold. But I have very clammy hands. I'm a very sweaty person.
It's all good.
Patrick Ewing looks at me like, that dude is sweaty.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm extremely sweaty. When I play pickup basketball, I bring 3 shirts.
No doubt.
Bring 3 shirts.
I can relate.
It's part of my offense.
It's part of being 300 pounds. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Marcus Spears is here today.
What's goody?
Question for you.
What's happening, man?
Who's going to get that last wild card spot in the NFC? We know 5 teams that are in the playoffs in the NFC right now. I'm putting the Seahawks in. Who's getting that last spot?
Somebody said today, I won't mention no names earlier, that Minnesota possibly. I'm going to be stupid.
Minnesota?
I'm going to be stupid and pick these guys, okay? The Giants.
What? Come on. You know, I saw, because my friends are all Giants fans, so we got a little group text, and they're like, okay, if New Orleans loses all their games, and the Cowboys lose one of these games against this, it's like they got this little roadmap where they're not mathematically out. They're out. The Giants are out.
Yeah, they do.
The Giants are way out. I saw you get mad earlier today about Saquon Barkley not being in the prize position.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Is Saquon Barkley... I'm going to say something stupid.
Not you.
I'm going to say it. Like, when I watch Saquon Barkley play, I say to myself, he has the potential to be top 5 dead or alive running backs of all time.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
He has that potential.
Oh, you was thinking that was going to sound stupid?
Yeah.
No. That doesn't sound stupid at all.
Walter Payton, Barry Sanders,
Listen, man.
There's Dickerson,
It is, he is in that mode, and I'll tell you why. Saquon Barkley is in that mode because he's already the best player on a team that arguably had the best player already in Odell Beckham. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he came in and is doing what he's doing now and more of a focal point in this offense than OBJ, let's context this for a second, right? OBJ just got $100 million. You don't get $100 million if you ain't that dude.
He's that dude.
He that dude. Saquon Barkley has been more of that dude this year. Now, look, it's predicated on Eli and what he does.
That's the problem. One of my problems is this. Saquon is making Giants believe that they can play another season with Eli.
That's a lie. The Giants fans, that's a lie, Giants fans. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to you, Cole. Don't do it. And yes, I call you Cole. For everybody that's used to people calling you Jacoby.
Is there a B on the end? Is there a B on the end? Cole, thank you. We had an argument about this.
So here's the problem with the whole Eli thing. Eli is the holdback. Mm-hmm. You just push forward, find you somebody young that can probably develop in maybe second year. He's a good enough quarterback to get you to where you need to be. I think that's Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State.
Okay.
Personally. And roll.
I do like Haskins.
Because look, all your skill guys are young.
But the offensive line is bad too. That's the problem.
That's why you need a guy that can compensate. I just feel like
the Giants could say to themselves, look, we fixed this line. We can make it work with Eli while we develop someone young. No, that's not happening.
That's why you need to compensate with a guy at the quarterback position that can move a little bit. Here's the problem with Eli, man.
Haskins isn't the most mobile quarterback out there.
But he is more mobile than Eli.
Everyone's more mobile than Eli.
Here's the deal, though. When you are that guy surrounded with the type of guys that he has, the fact that Haskins probably can buy you another half a second to a second makes this offense even more dangerous. With the fact that Saquon can do what he does, Odell, Shepard. Look, Evan Ingram at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes are these legit dudes now, Cole. Like, we talking about in the skill positions, in the most important positions, when you talk about skill, which is now in the NFL is tight end. You got to have a number one wide receiver, as they found out in Dallas, right? And you need a back that's more than just an in between the tackles guy. That's Saquon Barkley. Throw Saquon Barkley a screen, he probably go 80 if it's set up right? So they have all of that. They just need a guy to buy extra seconds sometimes, so they can do it, uncover.
Winning these games, is this good for them or bad for them?
This is
this little mini win streak that they're on.
See, I don't
Is this good for them or bad for them?
I don't think it's bad, because it would be bad if there was a surefire QB that was going to take you to the next level, like last year, where everybody thought about Baker Mayfield, right?
Well, Darnold.
Yeah, Sam too. But I'm saying this year you don't have that in college. I think Haskins can beat that guy, but we all know it's going to take some development. Now, there's another scenario. People saying go get Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy played well in the preseason. He did a good job. I just don't know.
You can get
Will
him
it work?
cheap. You can get him pretty cheap too.
You can get him cheap.
You need two quarterbacks nowadays.
You need two quarterbacks.
That's
why I say
that's the thing. Get Teddy Bridgewater and get Haskins and just keep Eli.
Because you don't have to pay either one of them.
Yeah,
you don't have to pay Haskins. You wouldn't have to pay Teddy, and you go with the guy that has the high hand, with the guy of the future.
Can I complain about something?
Go ahead.
You're Cowboys. See, I've been working in sports media for like 19 years.
Yep.
And it just seems like all we do is talk about the Cowboys.
Yep.
And now the Cowboys are winning.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it more.
Yeah.
What is the national obsession with this franchise?
Because it's what America wants to be.
What?
America. The Cowboys are the Kardashians of the world.
All right. Full of drama and not too much talent.
Full of drama.
And not too much talent.
I won't say that. I won't go as far as to say not too much talent, but always mentioned in every conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with them, right? Like, when we talk about the NFL, there is a priority, a feeling of priority to throw the Cowboys in there some kind of way.
In any conversation.
Some kind of way. So that's how we looking at it now. Like the marketing. Look, we don't have to talk about the marketing side of Jerry Jones and how well he does that, right? He's marketed this team better than any team. Probably been the best marketer in the history of the NFL. I mean, legit argument goes there.
I would agree.
But the Cowboys are always relevant because the Cowboys have embodied what everybody else wants to embody in the NFL. They've made themselves famous enough for it to translate into money.
The problem now is that they're winning. They look good doing it.
Well, it's not a problem. Why you say it's a problem? See, I take offense to that because I'm a Cowboy fan.
I know, because they hijacked the conversation. Hey, they're not going to be in the Super Bowl. They'll probably won't even win a playoff game.
It's fine. It's fine. But this is what the Cowboys need. We always need this to stay in the middle of all of it.
So there's 55 players on a roster, right?
Yeah. 53 that can play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've got one man, Amari Cooper, comes to town.
Yep.
And changes everything. Is he really that impactful, or is this coincidental?
He's that impactful because what the Cowboys were missing, the reason why I said they shouldn't have got rid of Dez Bryant, is a threat on the outside. Mm-hmm. Just to open things up for Ezekiel Elliott.
There's more going on to the Dez thing, though.
Yeah, I mean,
there's more going on. It's not just the on-field stuff. There's something going on.
I'll talk about that when Dez tell me it's cool to talk about that.
Okay.
But right now it ain't cool to talk about that.
All I know is ESPN doesn't have security follow me around 24/7. That's all I know. They didn't hire security to follow me around 24/7.
See, now that part of it is a misconception.
That didn't happen?
It happened early in his career.
Yeah.
Early in his career.
Yeah.
But they also followed
7 years ago.
I was there when they followed Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah.
Like, I was there when they followed. A lot of guys have been followed. Remember, like, nobody talks about it because it was the 90s and it was Super Bowls. You don't think people followed Michael Irvin?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Because nobody talked about it. We didn't have all of that information. You go through Michael Irvin's track record, I damn sure would have had some security following.
Looks like a CVS.
Okay.
It looks like a CVS receipt.
Like the receipt, right? So, I mean, listen, it is more to Dez conversation. But with that being said, Amari has changed it, man. He has. He gave him a threat on the outside, which opened up The run game, which is when they really are successful, is because Zeke is doing everything to dictate what the defense is doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Jalen Rose.
What up, Dell?
Welcome to the show, Jalen Rose.
Welcome to Swagoo.
Welcome to the show.
Swagoo in the building.
I was just trying to hold it down until you got here, dog.
Got it, dog.
Where were you?
Anytime.
Where were you? You got other things going on?
Doing an interview with Undefeated.
Hey, both of y'all settle arguing for me because y'all of this generation. Did Jay-Z start the button-down jeans and tennis shoes move?
Yes.
He did?
Yes. The stripes. It was stripes. It was big button downs with stripes. He did a
with the
thing.
shoes.
It was
What
right
was the
after
shoes?
he did the throwback jerseys, and he was doing that heavy. Then everybody had throwback jerseys.
Yep.
Mitchell & Ness was $1 billion company for a while there, and then all of a sudden he was like, you know what? I got to pivot. I got to zag when everyone's zigging. So he did the big button down, untucked with stripes. And at the time, he was wearing the Rocawear shoes.
Rocawear shoes. That's them.
The biggest move that Jay did, we don't give him enough credit for. Marry Beyonce.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Got the hottest chick
Like,
in
we
the
talk
game
about
wearing my
all of the stuff about Jay-Z. Like, that's the move.
In his latest verse on Meek's album, in his verse on Meek's album, he's about to start bragging about her. He just stops. He's like, my spot. Nah. Like, y'all already know. Y'all already
Man,
know.
listen.
That's
Man,
the move
listen.
right there.
I got a story to tell about Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Oh,
Love it.
okay.
I was in the NY. This is funny, bro. It really made me look terrible. I was in the NY, had a birthday party. I was out with Maria Taylor, Carrie Champion, Jesse Palmer.
Colleagues.
We all eating, right? So Jay and B security guy walk in, and I'm looking at the dude like, I know this cat. So he walks in, and then they walk in, right? Now you gotta understand, Beyonce from Houston. Growing up in Louisiana, like Creole, what we call them red bones from Houston, like is the dream girl forever, right? My wife is a red bone. That's the way I was raised. You like them girls. Okay. So when they walk in, there's an aura, right?
I know. I've seen it.
It is, man.
I've seen it.
It's a real thing.
I've seen it.
I never thought that I would feel like that, but like I always thought that the only person I would feel like that about is Oprah, right? But when Beyonce walked in, I was like, oh my God.
I've been in the same room with her. It's real. It's
It is
real. I've been in the
Like,
same room with her before.
What are you doing to yourself? So anyway, we all get done walking out of the restaurant. They standing outside, car pulling up. Carrie walks out, says hello to B and hello to Jay. So Carrie's like, can you take a picture with me? She asked Beyonce. Beyonce was like, yeah, I watch you. This is when Carrie was hosting First Take. And so I walked over to Jay, being the right type of dude, right? Right type of dude. You married.
I
this your
love
wife.
where you're going. This
I'm like,
is why
Jay,
you are OG.
Is it a problem if I take a picture with B? If she says it's okay. Jay was like, nah. Hey, my reaction was like, okay. All right, then.
You should have followed up and be like, but so it's not a problem?
I didn't know. But it's protocol. Where I'm from,
Of course.
you don't just
Of
walk
course.
up on a man wife.
Preach.
and be
No.
like- It's just like Jay. If I want a picture with Molly, I'm be like,
Preach.
Jay, is it cool?
Yeah, of course.
If I take a snap
Of
with
course.
but it was embarrassing, but it was the best embarrassment of my life.
So one time I went to go see Avatar. And Avatar is a beautiful movie theater experience. You got the 3D glasses on and everything. And Jay-Z was there and he went to go see Avatar too. And one thing that bothered me is his security guy was there sitting like 3 seats over. The security guy wouldn't put the glasses on. It's like, come on now.
He at work.
It's like,
They
come
be
on
putting
now.
those glasses
Just put
on,
the glasses
Jacoby.
on.
Hey, man,
put the
his job
glasses.
is
Let
to
him put the glasses on.
Hey, man.
If it was my security guy, I'd be like, yo, put the glasses
No,
on.
he got $1 billion client sitting
the
3 rows,
glasses
3
on.
seats
This is a while
over.
ago.
You bet not put them glasses
I'm
on.
with
You
Jay.
better
This is a
keep your
while
head
ago.
on the
This is a
swivel
while
at
ago.
all times.
I'm with Jay.
I was at a pizza spot in Brooklyn, probably the best, one of the best. I don't want to get in an argument with people on Twitter. Top 5 pizza spot in New York City, Lucali's in Brooklyn, and Jay and Beyonce. Shout out. And there is a glow.
It is, man.
There's a glow. There's a thing. There's an aura. There's a feeling. There's an energy. There's something I can't explain.
It's a trance.
And just listening to him order pizza was like, yo, you sound just like Jay-Z. Ordering pizza.
That's
That's how he sounds on the record.
You sound just like Jay-Z. He needs to cut his hair though. Let's be honest.
Jay don't need to cut his
He
hair.
don't need to cut
Yes,
his
he
hair.
does.
Let him do
You're a
his.
billionaire. Do what you want.
Can't even put
He
the
doing
paper
that on
plane hat on.
purpose.
Can't even put the paper plane hat on.
Doing
what
that
you
on
want,
purpose.
man.
Exactly.
Your hat
Do what you
shouldn't
want.
be 10 inches from your
That's
eyeball.
goals right there.
Your hat shouldn't be 10
When you
inches
got
from
your
your
own
eyeball.
boss, then you don't have to cut your hair.
I just saw the OTR tour on the run. Me and my wife went to see him in Dallas.
Yeah.
They can do whatever the hell they want to do.
Preach.
Did you watch the stage or did you watch the screen?
I watched the stage.
Okay.
Beyonce was up there.
You ready for this, Swaggo? David Jacoby does not like concerts.
Don't like loud music. Don't like loud music.
How about that? For
Don't
a
like
guy
it.
that's right now wearing a dope Wu-Tang sweater,
No,
Don't like
loves
loud
music like everybody. Don't like
just don't like concerts.
It's just
It's just so loud.
it's loud and it's packed. I can't talk to my
I feel
friends.
like a lot
It's
of
busy.
stuff,
It's just like
I feel
it's
like
just-
a lot of
I don't
things
like
that
it.
have transpired since I've been with both of y'all, because y'all, to me, y'all the goats. But I feel like you old.
I am old. Thank you. I'm
He act
old.
like a 90-year-old
It's
man.
loud.
don't
Yo,
he?
and let's be honest. The music doesn't sound as good as it does in the album.
It's so loud.
It doesn't sound as good.
It's so loud.
It's like a whack version. I'm listening to a bad version of a song I like,
Not if
and I'm
you see
they're
Beyonce
yelling at
in
me,
concert.
telling me to put my hands up and down. I don't know. I can't really dance, but I can't not dance. I don't know whether to stand up or sit down.
What about the
It's annoying.
actual show that's taking place
The
that you
show,
don't get
Cole.
when you're listening to it
You
in
don't
your
go
car?
Broadway. You don't do Broadway either,
I'll go to a Broadway show.
because it's not as loud.
It's not the loudness of the music. It's just like the actual event. Like
Dog,
The-
Beyonce standing on the
dancing and
stage
all
in
that.
a glitter dress is worth the price of admission. And singing. And she actually sounds like, that's the most disappointing thing to me when I
And
go
dancing.
to a concert, is when they don't sound like they sound when,
that's
when
what I'm
the
saying.
record
It never
plays.
does. It never
Beyonce does. Jay
It
does.
never does. And at hip hop shows especially, because I'm a hip hop guy.
Yeah.
They start too late.
They do.
On the ticket it says 9 o'clock, and I'm not
like-
showing up until 11:30.
But you know that already.
I'm not showing up until
You
11:30.
already know that.
And I'm out until 1. And my kids are waking me up in the morning. I don't want to do this anymore.
Who the hell started a hip hop show on time, Go?
No one does.
Well, why
I
you
remember
there?
there was one that said
Why
it said
you
9
there?
o'clock.
You act like somebody that was at a Lauryn Hill concert
It was
one
Helter
day.
Skelter. It was Helter Skelter, and it was inside the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll never forget this. Literally inside
That's
the base
dope.
of the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know how they did this. I've never seen
dope.
another venue, anybody else do anything there. Helter Skelter. It was at 9 o'clock. We literally showed up at 1:15. They came on stage.
They came on stage.
Yeah.
It's just like when the pastor in black churches, when he say, I'm going to get y'all out of here because I know the game on, you ain't going to get to the game till the second quarter.
Correct.
You'll never believe
That's
this.
3.5 hours.
It's 3.5
I've
hours.
never had that experience.
Really?
Yeah,
Never been to a black church?
No.
Oh, we can fix that.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
ready to
I got
go.
you.
Let's
I got
do
you.
it.
Oh, we gonna fix
Let's do
that.
You
it.
talking about not liking a show?
Let's do it.
You gonna like that show? You gonna like that show, man?
You gonna like it here today.
And that Holy Spirit gonna get in. You're gonna be standing up there at the altar giving about $40, and you're gonna be like, "What am I doing? I don't even go here."
Let's
It's
give
not
people what
even
they
a-
want.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent lightning storm. Here to describe the event, a TV tray.
I was watching football and holding a plate of meatloaf when kabam! A bolt of lightning slams into the apartment, blowing out the TV and surround sound.
Anything you could have done to help?
Ma'am, I'm a foldable table, not an electrician.
Your TV tray can't help you in a lightning storm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Go to geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
Marcus, still about 2.5 weeks until the college football playoff starts, but it's never too early to get hyped.
Never too early.
Here's
It's
the
my
problem.
wheelhouse right now.
Here's the problem, Marcus. I feel like it's going to be
Bama.
Clemson and Alabama. Like it just feels kind of like what do we have? What has to happen for us to see an upset in these first two games?
In the first one with Bama and Oklahoma, Kyler Murray is going to have to earn every bit of that Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to have to be one of those Deshaun Watson-esque performances. Here's the problem with Oklahoma, though. They are so bad on defense.
So bad.
Yeah,
And this is the first year where barring Tua is healthy. Mm-hmm. This is the first year
He'll be
you're going to
healthy.
catch Alabama where they can put 70 on the
That's the thing is that
Right.
Oklahoma could put up 49 points and lose.
Listen, this was last year when Oklahoma played Georgia, J. Rose. Sonny Michel averaged 16 yards a carry. Hold on, perspective. 2 first downs a carry almost. And the second guy, I don't want to call him his backup, Nick Chubb, who he rotates with, averaged 10 yards a carry. So what is Nick Saban going to do? All right, this is what he's going to do, because this is what people forget about Alabama because of Tua. He's going to condense the game. He's going to hand the ball off to Damian Harris and Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs. He's going to lean on the big physical offensive line where it's about 3 first rounders up there. Yep. They just not eligible yet, other than Jonah Williams, who's going to go in the first round probably. And they're going to shorten the game. And Kyler Murray is going to end up with 5 or 6 less possessions than he usually gets in the Big 12 matchup because your defense is horrible, right? So I'm a bludgeon you at the line of scrimmage because you've shown all year you can't fight it.
Notre Dame got a chance?
Notre Dame, as crazy as this seems, I think they do.
Oh, talk to me.
Because
make it interesting for me.
They're more balanced. Right? And we talking about one game. All right, we're not talking about
it's not 7 games.
This is not 7 games. Yeah. UCF and LSU plays, and everybody talking about, well, LSU should blast UCF. No, it's one game of a scheme you hadn't seen. But going back to what you asked, when you look at Notre Dame, what they do successfully, Clemson only gives up 2 yards a carry in the rush, and everybody's talked about this defensive line. McShay right now has 3 guys off this defensive line going first round, and they all going top 15. As crazy as that sounds. They've been giving up 2 yards. Notre Dame rushes for 6. So what gives there? And then Ian Book came in, the backup quarterback, and now who's the starter and has shown the ability to push the ball downfield. The only discrepancy that Clemson has had defensively is their secondary. They've given up some things. Yep. South Carolina, Jake Bentley threw for almost 500 yards against them. Now, I know it's a rivalry game. They know a lot of guys. South Carolina almost put 500 yards offense. I think 300 of it was through the air. Ian Book has shown that he can do that. Notre Dame has big physical receivers.
Jalen Rose, he mentioned Kyler Murray, the Heisman Trophy winner. And the story on Kyler Murray is he's going to play baseball. We've talked about this. I think he should play football or both. What do you think would be best for Kyler Murray? He called your phone and said, Jalen, you're an OG. I need your advice, Unc. What should I do?
If I'm him and all things equal and I got a chance to be great at both, baseball.
Why's that?
Longevity, no concussions, no opioids, guaranteed contracts. You don't have to worry about getting your knee blown out on a given play. Should I go on?
Well,
and Kyler Murray 5'9".
You really think that's a thing?
It is a thing. Trying to stand behind 6'4" linemen.
Are you trying to say that he cannot be an NFL quarterback at 5'9"?
He's shorter than Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's balling.
He's shorter.
That's fine. See, I've never really understood this.
Yeah, the line in front of you. You can't see
it's
passing lanes.
It's the vision. And
can't see the whole field.
You're not going to create a system for Kyler Murray like Lincoln Riley has created at Oklahoma. Here's the thing people don't understand about the NFL. All 11 guys are good when you get on that level, right? So, yeah, you got RPOs and all of that stuff where they trying to implement in the college game. You got to have dudes that can run it. Now, Kyler Murray, to me, in an NFL setting, when you're talking about offensive linemen, to your point, 6'4", 6'5", and you got to maneuver around them, it's different, man.
Here's the thing. He probably won't even start in the major leagues.
It don't matter.
He's going to be like a AA, AAA, riding buses, playing in front of families, 400 people at the stadium. They got Mark Sanchez starting football games in the NFL.
How much
start football games in the NFL?
How much money did Bryce Harper just turn down?
What was it?
$300.
$500 million. Yeah.
And we raving about Aaron Rodgers getting 100 guaranteed. Mm-hmm. I just saw McCutcheon, I think, signed with Philly for a 3-year, $58 million deal, and that's a poor man's deal in the major leagues. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray went 9th. You know what that does for him? That's going to give him every opportunity to go to the major leagues. They are going to fight, scratch, and claw. Even if he ain't good enough, somebody going to call him up one day and try to give him a shot up there. And the number one thing he can do, I know both of y'all remember this name because y'all respect the game. Y'all remember Ricky Henderson?
No doubt. Of course. Remember Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson Legend. Got on base and stole every base.
No
Kyler
question.
Murray has that type of juice.
Okay.
So even if he's not a prolific hitter, which he was in college, and he plays a shortstop position as well, even if he's not that, hey, man, we're going to get this guy on base. We're going to put you on first. I need you to get the second
so
every time.
know, I'm glad you brought him up. Ricky Henderson is one of my favorite athletes of all time.
Love Ricky Henderson.
He's dope.
How about this? His first check for $1 million, he framed it.
Kept it.
$1 million.
And never cashed it.
$1 million.
I love the dude, man.
Marcus, I'm so glad you're here today because I have to ask you about this. Eric Reed. I remember Eric Reed.
Yep.
He's playing football now. And he was saying, you know what? I'm getting a lot of random drug tests from the league. And now he has been fined 3 times for hits. The latest was a hit against a Buccaneer, and he wasn't even flagged for it. He got fined $26,000. He's adding these instances into his collusion case against the NFL. Do you think the NFL has singled out Eric Reed because of his support of Kaepernick and taking a knee during the anthem?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because we've seen this movie before, just in other situations. Like there's a preconceived notion before the game even starts, right? And if we can catch him on anything, we're going to catch him on it. Mm-hmm. We're going to give him the juice. Look, let's be honest. This Kaepernick situation is still lingering. And everybody that was attached and tied to it that is still in the NFL, don't think that there's not more attention being paid to them. Are the hits bad? Possibly. Sure. But does a guy get that much attention? No. But because of Eric Reed and his stance and what he did with Cap, and also he's still fighting the battle as well. So when you think about it from that context, there could be validity to it. But with that being said, Odell got a bunch of drug tests as well. This would be the league's rebuttal because Odell came out and was like, I keep getting drug tests. I ain't taking it.
Odell got some different videos out there of him laying in the bed eating bad pizza.
I get it. But my point is when you associate yourself with anything that they can give to the media or to the public that this is why we're doing this way, then you open yourself up to that. I'm sure Eric Reed knows that.
Jalen, you still think that they're going to win this collusion case in the court of law?
1,000% Colin Kaepernick is going to win his collusion case. All he has to do is show up with a laundry list of second and third string NFL quarterbacks that have gotten checks to play football the last couple of years. They're looking for people to come play that have not been in the league. An arena league guy got an opportunity to play. Derek Anderson was out of the league. Okay. What about Nathan Peterman?
6 picks in the first half.
Mark Sanchez. Started a football game in the NFL. It's out of control.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If we don't have to move along. This is why I love y'all, because we talk about these type of things. What in the hell is the NFL going to say? And what is one of those 32 organizations? Let's not even take the 32. Remove the guys that's stable at the quarterback position. The unstable teams,
probably about 10.
At the QB position,
like 15.
Yeah, what is going to be their excuse for not bringing in Kaepernick?
Distraction. Don't want the distraction.
Absolutely.
That's the
and why is it? What distraction?
Are you ready for the other one? Or the system?
No, it doesn't fit the system. Yeah, it doesn't fit the system.
Yeah, we've heard that for 400 years. It fit the system.
The distraction one is the one that kills me. It's the one that kills me.
It's time for soft move or boss move.
Oh, this is my favorite.
You know how this works, Marcus. I don't have to explain it to you.
Yes.
Here's the thing. We're starting soft move or boss move with the don't get fired topic of the day. Buckle up, everybody. No. Buckle up, everybody. Be careful what you say, Marcus. We don't want you to get fired on our watch, okay? Atlanta United won the MLS Cup. So it's Atlanta. What did they do? They celebrated. They celebrated with the confetti, and then after the confetti was raining down, they took the cup to Magic City. Celebrated with the ones raining down. We had to blur everything in that photo except for the MLS Cup. I'll start with you, Jalen Rose. Boss move or super boss move? Taking the MLS Cup to Magic City.
No question about it. This program got started in Atlanta at an adult entertainment
that may or may not be where Jalen and I first met.
I remember being in Magic City when I was down there for Freaknik. Okay? When Outkast's first album came out, I need to get to Atlanta. And it's one of the places, and I'm pretty sure you know this, Marcus, that you can actually go to a different strip club every night.
Hey, listen. It's one of the greatest places in the world.
Don't get fired, Marcus. Don't get fired. You're a rising star, Marcus.
Atlanta, GA, Hot Atlanta, as I call it.
Preach.
One of the great places in the world. First of all, people got to understand, it's a boss move. I like super boss move for this because Magic City is a staple.
Yes.
In the institution.
It was Monday night, too.
Yeah.
It was Monday night.
That's the night.
That's why they went to Magic City. Also, I like that they bought the trophy a lap dance. You know what I mean? I really like that. Buying inanimate objects lap dances is always a boss move.
But here's the most important thing. You got to finish the deal. They had to end up at Waffle House. You got to let me know that they ended up at Waffle House. Okay? You got to end up at Waffle House.
Moving on. Ryan Tannehill's planning for his future after football. Right? So what he has done is I'm going to get scientific with you guys. He has taken some stem cells of his own and he has banked them in a stem cell bank in the Cayman Islands in case in the future science is at a point where they can grow a new Ryan Tannehill or he can grow himself a new arm or he can make himself younger. Soft move or boss move, Marcus? Banking your own stem cells in the Cayman Islands.
Boss move.
Really?
Boss move. Being a former player, It's actually something that kind of flies around. Stem cells was hard to come by. It was hard to find people that'll do it here in the U.S. But the fact that he's thinking ahead like this, I got to make that a boss move because he's thinking about the longevity. And I got kids. I would have probably stored some stem cells, man.
I'm rolling with you, Spears. Yeah. I think that's a boss move. And as an athlete, a professional one, like he's gotten paid because of taking care of himself, because of his health, because of the ability to not only perform mentally but physically. So to do whatever you can to keep that longevity going, you got to support that.
So, Jalen, this next one, I really have some footage I need you to see. This is footage of a Taiwanese woman, right? And, you know, we always say we don't make fun of people for things they can't control. And she cannot control that her feet look like this.
Okay.
Jalen Rose, being proud of your finger toes and putting them on the internet for everyone to look at, soft move or boss move?
Boss move. Because so many times, especially with social media,
he's grabbing a pen.
People look themselves in the mirror and for whatever reason, they see their manager or their agent and not themselves. We all have insecurities. We all have things that we feel like should be better about ourselves. I appreciate people that embrace things that other people may tease them for.
I like how she was embracing the pen with her toes there.
It's how you play it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's all about how you play it.
I bet she can find somebody to massage those dogs.
300 pounds. Oh, yeah. I'm 300 pounds, but I carry myself like I'm 180 in European.
You look great. You look great.
So, yeah, I can shop in Milan.
Or your wife.
They won't follow you around the store. They won't let you in the store.
They already follow me.
So in China, right? In China, they've got some very serious anti-pornography laws. And in China, if you report someone watching, sharing, or creating pornography, you can snitch on them to the government and you will get paid $86,000. The equivalent of an average annual salary in China. Marcus, snitching on someone watching porn and getting paid $86,000. Soft move or boss move? He's thinking about it.
You said 86 racks?
86.
Soft move.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it.
It's a soft move, man.
Work hard for your
money.
money.
I'm from, snitching is a cardinal sin, especially on something that don't really translate into anybody gaining anything, right?
Victimless crime.
So, look, I get it. I've actually heard this before, but man, 86 though? 2 of them a year, dog. 2 of them a year,
You catch 3 people, you almost 300,000.
Listen.
I'll snitch on myself for $86,000. I'll
Just
turn
do your time and come
I'll
get
turn
your bag.
myself in. Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Oh, no,
I agree with you. That's a soft move. It ain't enough bread.
So, Jalen, earlier you mentioned insecurities, and we had an emotional show yesterday, Marcus. Jalen opened up to us about something, and he said that he was concerned he was going to give up his waves.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He said he was going to give up his waves. And we're like, Jalen, you're known for your waves, your hairline, this is part of your brand, don't ever do it. And he said he was a little concerned about it giving the do-rag giving him lines on his forehead. Okay? So our producer, Reggie, suggested that he wear not one do-rag.
Reggie said this is what he does.
2 do-rags, but wear 3 do-rags at once. To avoid having a line on your forehead. Soft move or boss move, Marcus, wearing 3 do-rags at the same time.
How to stop a line, though.
That's what I don't understand either. I don't understand it at all.
It seems like it would
make a deeper line. Yeah.
3 times.
Soft move or boss move, 3 do-rags at once.
It's a soft move.
Yes, it is.
It's a soft move. I didn't even know that existed.
You're going to tie one do-rag on your head, then tie another one, and then tie another one?
That's dumb. But, sorry, Reg, that's dumb as hell. Jay, you can't get rid of the waves, dog. Do you know how many dudes want that palette?
I know.
Look at my head. Like my forehead damn near in the Middle East now. My hairline is almost in the Middle East, bro. You still on home ground. Don't change a thing.
I know.
Sure.
Do it
Don't
for
change
us.
a thing, man.
Do it for us. Start creeping in the corners.
All right.
You know what I mean? You got something to aspire to. Keep the waves, Jalen.
You get rid of the waves.
I ain't rocking 3 do-rags.
No, don't do that.
No.
That's a
I don't think Reggie does that either.
migraine.
You think Reggie's lying?
Reggie, you're lying to the people.
I think you're lying to the people, Reg. Marcus, thank you so much for coming through.
Guys.
Appreciate it. Anytime, you're welcome back. You can catch Marcus on SEC Network. You can catch Marcus on Get Up. You can catch Marcus on Internet. You can catch Marcus everywhere.
Marcus Spears, the rising star in the industry.
That's right.
Shout out.
It's 2018, so sometimes you have these relationships with people that you've never met before. You know, like that one person that tweets you all the time and you tweet back and you ask, how'd you guys meet? Oh, we met on Twitter. This is not abnormal anymore. Instagram accounts that you follow of people that you've never met before, but you just kind of like the stuff that they post. You have these relationships. I have one of these relationships with my Stitch Fix stylist. That's right. I have a stylist. I know it doesn't look like it if you watch the show, but I have a stylist, and they work at Stitch Fix. They see me on the show, and they know what I like. They know what I dress like. I just spoke with them briefly about some of the brands I wear, the size I like, my general style, and what they do at Stitch Fix. You had this one conversation. They will put together a box of 5 items of clothing that they think are perfect for you at the perfect price with the perfect fit, just to your style. You get this box, you try them on, and here's the best part. You don't own these yet. You only keep what you want. So, one thing about me, I buy clothes online sometimes, and if they don't fit or if I don't like them, I'm too lazy to send them back. That's not the case with Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get the box, you try on what you like, they give you the packaging to send everything back. So let's say you only want 2 or 3 items from the box. You put the ones you don't want in the bag, and you just drop it in the mailbox, and it's gone, and you don't have to pay for them. You only buy what you like, and the more boxes you get, the more your Stitch Fix stylist understands what you want, understands what you need, knows what you keep, knows what you send back. You build that relationship. You, right now, listening to this podcast, can have a personal stylist. Not just rich people like Jalen Rose. Normal people like you, in your cubicle, in your car, jogging, at the gym, whatever you're doing, you can have a stylist if you go to stitchfix.com/Jacoby. Go to stitchfix.com/Jacoby now. If you keep all 5 items in your first box, you will get 25% off your whole purchase. Go to stitchfix.com/Jacoby right now. You can have a stylist just like Jalen Rose.
Join the Skillshare movement, an online learning community with over 20,000 classes. Up your game in business, design, technology, or try a class in social media marketing, data science, mobile photography, creative writing, you name it. Join the millions already on Skillshare. Get 2 months of Skillshare unlimited access to over 20,000 classes for just 99 cents. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/JJ. Again, go to Skillshare.com/JJ to start your 2 months now. That's Skillshare.com/JJ.
Last night in Los Angeles, the Toronto Raptors, East leading Raptors, started a very tough West Coast road trip in Los Angeles, and they kind of made easy work of the Clippers, who are having a great season. Van Vliet had 14 assists. Here's the thing, though, Jalen Rose. They did all of that without Kawhi Leonard in the lineup. Are you surprised they made such easy work of the Clippers without Kawhi?
Well, they're 6-1 without Kawhi. And what that shows the casual NBA fan is the Toronto Raptors really have depth.
Yes.
So Kyle Lowry's been an all-star amongst the league leaders in assists. Serge Ibaka has done a terrific job being more efficient, scoring the basketball, playing the small ball center. But when you go deeper into their lineup, Pascal Siakam.
That's my guy.
Giving them versatility up front on both ends. Fred Van Vliet, one of the best backup point guards in the game, had double-digit assists. Yep. OG Anunoby can lock down and improve score. Valanciunas. So, the Toronto Raptors are a complete basketball team, and they continue to show that. And it was impressive given the Clippers their largest deficit of a loss this season.
Well, that's what happened on the floor, okay? But there was a little something going on off the floor because one of our colleagues, a gentleman by the name of Brian Windhorst, wrote a very interesting article that was published on ESPN.com, and part of it was this. He wrote, quote, "The Clippers are rather transparently obsessed with chasing Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant in free agency next summer. It's clear from their books. They've cleared a path to 2 open max salary slots. It's clear through their actions they've been treating the 2 like college recruits and sending executives just to watch numerous Warriors and Raptors games so they're visible." Jalen Rose, I don't think it's super surprising breaking news that a team wants to have Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant on it. I do think it's interesting that they're sending executives to the games and they're obsessed with adding these 2.
Because they're game changers. And so look at the dynamics of a team like the Clippers. Kawhi's from California. We believe this will be KD's final season in Golden State.
Feels like it.
So what do you do to lure those guys? The Clippers put a quality product out on the floor, starting with Jerry West, one of the greatest executives and players of all time. Doc Rivers established himself as one of the best coaches of all time. And they put together a working man's lineup.
Yep.
What do I mean by that? A bunch of guys that have never been all-stars.
Probably no all-stars.
But know who they are. Tobias Harris, Gallinari, Montrezl Harrell, Patrick Beverly, the rookie Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing quality minutes. You know what you're going to get out of those guys. Lou Williams. And so now all of a sudden, instead of putting your squad in a spot to where it almost looks like they're tanking to try to get those guys, it's you do the opposite. And you sell to those guys, if you come join this group, we automatically got some special system right off top.
It's interesting, especially when we always talk about this free agent class this summer, but there's no real landing spot for Durant. You know what I mean? Like people talk about the Knicks. Like, what if you add Durant to this Knicks team? They're not contending in the East.
Here's what I would like to see from KD. And by the way, he's not taking advice on his career from me. But with that being said, I've seen him play with Russ, seen him play with Harden. Those guys have been MVPs in the game along with him. I see him play with Steph. Been an MVP. Get to play with Clay. Get to play with Draymond. Even get to play with Boogie. I don't want to necessarily see him play with Kawhi.
Yeah, but I know, but Jalen, what's the point of being? What does he have to prove? I'm going to go to the Brooklyn Nets and I'm going to take this Nets roster and build my own super team, and I'm going to do it my way. So Jalen Rose and the other retired veterans are going to respect me. Well, is that really something to chase?
People like you are using the term super team incorrectly. A super team is a squad that has multiple All-NBA performers on it. Okay, not many teams other than the Golden State Warriors or the 76ers can boast that. So there are not many super teams that exist. But I don't necessarily, I've seen him play with all of the top players in the game except LeBron. I'd love to see him play against those guys.
Okay. But here's the thing. Look at this. The Clippers, they have 2 open slots. If they can get Kawhi and KD, if you're KD, you say, you know what? I don't want to join this working man's team that you've decided. I don't want to join this team because, you know what? I want to play against Kawhi. I don't want to play with Kawhi. That's just backwards logic to me.
Well, how about this? Well, the national media does a groupie thing that they don't realize, is that we're trying to continue to push the narrative of him going to LA. The Nets got 2 salary spots. This ain't breaking news. This didn't just happen. It didn't just free up this money on their books last night. They did this in the off season.
It's a good point.
So now he's in LA and not even playing. We are just doubling down on that narrative so that now, we got LeBron with the Lakers and we got Kawhi and KD with the Clippers. That's something special for what we do for a living. If I'm KD, I've already done that in Golden State.
Here's another thing. These executives that they're flying around to these games, they probably just want to get away from their families. You want me to fly to Toronto to watch Kawhi Leonard play basketball? I can watch Kawhi Leonard play basketball on my TV.
Well, it's not a tough flight if you're on the East Coast. It's only an hour. And by the way, if you get paid to be an executive in the NBA, I would think that it's your job to actually fly around and give FaceTime to the players in the league. That's
Sounds
totally
like tampering.
That's basic service.
Well, the Raptors are going to go from Los Angeles to Northern California, where at 10:30 tonight on ESPN, they will take on the Golden State Warriors. This is the best team in the East, in my opinion, playing against the best team in the West. It's an objective fact. Jalen, do you think the Warriors, because not every regular season game is the same, do you think the Warriors send a message tonight? Do you think they try to blow out the Raptors? Do you think that they have a little huddle before the game and say, let's really win this one?
We got to see if Kawhi Leonard's going to play. That's a key. But yes, the Golden State Warriors are into sending a message because they're into showing the league that they have what it takes to win 3 straight championships. And this is a team that they can legitimately face. A team that is legitimately not only last year the number 1 seed in the East, also this season. And so when you play against that squad, you want to see plays that work, matchups that work, and also you're going to see the ones that don't. I'm going to take you deeper in the box score. Here's what to watch for.
What are we watching for?
Serge Ibaka versus Draymond Green. On one end, Draymond Green initiates offense. He grabs and goes off the backboard and create fast break situation, and he allows Steph, Clay, and KD to run and not be so ball dominant.
He does so much for this team.
Serge is the exact opposite. Okay, he's there to rim protect, to rebound, to set screens, and
if he dribbles the ball, something
occasionally
went wrong.
Make a jump shot. But those 2 guys and their effectiveness is going to drive a lot of what happens and could easily determine who's going to be the winner or loser.
We'll be watching for that tonight at 10:30. Big finals preview matchup. Right now, Jalen Rose, it's time for statue. So, Jalen Rose, you are the senior statue analyst, not just of this company, but of the world. And you are so because you understand that a statue is the highest accomplishment that an athlete can get. Beyond championships, beyond getting your number retired, even beyond the Hall of Fame, you consider the statue the pinnacle.
I do.
Right? Well, Kevin Durant had something to say to Yahoo Sports about his future, potentially.
I know for a fact that we'll all get our jerseys retired. We'll probably all get statues here in front of the Chase Center. We'll be Bay Area legends forever. Meaning that people will recognize this team and this run forever in this area. Steve Kerr is going to be immortalized. He's going to be a legend forever. Bob Myers as well. And Joe Lacob.
Jalen Rose. I know for a fact that we're going to get our jerseys retired, and we'll probably get statues outside the Chase Center. As the senior statue analyst, not just of the company, but of the world, what do you think about Mr. Durant's comments?
I got some breaking news for Mr. Durant.
What's that?
If he leaves Golden State after this year, he ain't getting a statue in Oklahoma City or Golden State.
I bet they don't even retire
Not
his jersey.
gonna be able to do
They don't
it.
retire his number if he leaves this year.
Okay. Now, Steph's getting a statue.
Sure.
Russell's getting a statue. LeBron, Dirk, Vince Carter, current players that are getting statues. Dwayne Wade is getting a statue.
Kevin Durant's not getting a statue.
He won't be getting one. No. Not if he leaves this year. This is his chance to do it. In order for that to happen, you got to be somewhere for an extended period of time.
You can't go for 3 years and expect a statue. Statue stays forever. They should probably just put a statue up and take it down after 3 years. That's what they should do.
No.
They should give him a statue
If he
for 3
bounces
years.
after this year, they probably will retire his number because he deserves it and they won multiple championships and he was finals MVP. He absolutely, positively will not get a statue if he bounces.
Can I do the media thing and read too much into this? This sounds like someone who's leaving. This sounds like he's talking about this era. You know what I mean? He's talking about we're going to be remembered here forever. This sounds like this. Look, I'm going to read too much into it.
Okay.
This sounds like someone who's leaving. This sounds like someone who's. I'm putting a cap on this era. We're going to be remembered forever here. It's him saying to the people. It's him saying to the people, look, I did my thing here. I created an era. I brought you 3 straight championships. Bye.
Or media guy, it could say that he's actually staying and planning on being there for a long time because the last time I checked, he hasn't played in the Chase Center yet. It isn't open until next season.
He's going to play the Chase Center in a different jersey when he's on the road. Jalen Rose, the Podfather, and the Ringer have been making some news with their
William
podcast.
Simmons.
We had Steph talking about the moon, and now on JJ Redick's podcast, he had his new teammate Jimmy Butler on, and they discussed that practice. And you know the practice I'm talking about in Minnesota, and they discussed details. Let's listen to Jimmy Butler talk about the infamous Minnesota practice.
The most interesting detail of that whole scrimmage that nobody knows, I only shot the ball once. I only shot the ball one time. I only shot the ball once. I was dominating. I only shot the ball once. Dimes. Boom, boom, boom. Steals. Blocks. I only shot the ball one time.
Huh. Only shot the ball one time in that scrimmage. What does that tell you, Jalen Rose?
I think this is one of those topics that people that didn't play are more enamored with.
Oh, I like this.
Than people that did play.
Oh, I like this.
I always thought like our infatuation about how that practice went and the overtone of the scenario was overblown by the media. Because what ends up happening in these scenarios, take it from somebody that's been traded a couple of times, unhappy with his situation a couple of times, that's what you do as a competitor. I'm going to put it all out here in practice since for whatever reason I don't get the chance or I'm not going to be able to do it in the game. So he was sending a message to his team. He was sending a message to ownership. And as you look forward, now it seems what he was doing with Karl Anthony Towns in a lot of ways is transferring to what is going to happen if he and Joel Embiid is going to be successful. In particular, since Joel came out and acknowledged that he wasn't necessarily happy with how Coach Brett Brown was using him. And I also noticed that he and Ben Simmons are rocking headbands because they locked down on D. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're the only two people wearing them.
Do you think Jimmy Butler stays in the 76ers for next season?
I think it's too early to determine.
That's fair. But I could see a scenario in which they get bounced in the second round of the playoffs, and the Philadelphia front office gets together and says, you know what? Maybe Jimmy Butler is not the future of our franchise.
I don't think it's going to be because the franchise doesn't want to sign him. I think what ends up happening is you're going to realize the options that you have when the season ends, and you get a chance to allow this body of work to play out. You want to see how your teammates are going to perform in the regular season. As you mentioned, how they're going to perform in the playoffs. The Boston Celtics aren't going anywhere.
No.
They're already deep. They have access. They have a great coach. And so it's going to be interesting and fascinating. But I think what happens on the floor is still going to determine whether he stays long term.
Interesting. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on that. 176er who's in the news for the wrong reasons is a gentleman by the name of Markelle Fultz. And an Arizona radio host, John Gambardo, shout to him, he tweeted this about the Suns and Fultz. He tweeted, there have been a lot of people asking about a trade for Markelle Fultz. I will reiterate that I do not see it. From what I am hearing, the Suns have no interest in Fultz, no desire to take on him and any issues he has. Jalen Rose, it's bad when the Phoenix Suns don't want you on the roster. What is this one radio host sort of like, what he's hearing from the Suns? What does that tell you about the market for Markelle?
Well, the Suns over the last handful of years have actually done a terrific job of acquiring people to play guard. The problem is they play better when they go somewhere else.
Yep.
And you look no further than Isaiah Thomas, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Knight. Like, the list goes on and on. The lefty from Miami. Dragic. And so they have Booker now. They're trying to find somebody to pair with him that could be the primary ball handler so that he doesn't have to have that responsibility so very often and can focus on scoring. With that backdrop, Markelle Fultz just does not fit. Now, it seems like the other thing the Phoenix Suns may be doing, and this is coming from executives and personnel of other teams, are they trying to help the Lakers get better?
It feels like it. James Jones and LeBron are cool. We know that.
Because
LeBron
we saw what happened with Tyson
money.
Chandler. Allegedly, we hear what may happen with Trevor Ariza, and he's already sitting out games as a healthy scratch.
Ariza would be a perfect fit for this Lakers team. He would be a perfect fit.
He'd be a perfect fit for a lot of teams.
He would. I would love to see him on the Lakers.
Of course, you're in the national media. We want everybody to go to L.A.
Oh, yeah, of course we do. And I don't want him to see him on the Clippers. I want KD to come to the Lakers and play with LeBron. I want it all to be a smokescreen. That's what I want to have happen.
What about him going somewhere else on the East Coast?
No, I'm good. It's time for News That Matters. Jalen Rose. Cubs manager Joe Madden. Eclectic personality. He says that he is reading Understanding Millennials for Dummies so he can better understand his players. Jalen Rose, do you understand millennials?
I hope so. And this is really intelligent for him to do because it highlights the fact that not only is he passionate about his profession and wanting to be the best skipper he can be, he's going to take time and energy to learn where they come from. What ends up happening is as each generation passes, we all do this.
Yep.
We feel like the one behind us has it easier.
Of course.
We feel
doesn't
like
work as hard.
Correct.
Yeah, it's always the same.
It's always the same. In music, in movies, and with people, it's all the same. So for him to take this step, I like this. But he did something that I would not have done as a chess move. The things that I do personally for improvement, for competitive nature, I don't share with the public.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one thing that bothers me about this. It seems like he might, you know what? I say I read a lot of books, but I only read the first 10 pages. This is what this feels like.
Cliff notes.
Yeah, this is what this feels like.
It feels like when LeBron said he watched The Godfather every night but couldn't recite any scenes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's carrying the book around like, LeBron, you're not reading The Godfather from front to back. You know what I mean? Like, this seems like a little bit for show. And also, I'm gonna confess something. I've read a couple of those For Dummies books and not understood them. I needed like a Managing Millennials for Dummies for real dummies if I was going to read that. I don't understand millennials, but I'm fine with that. And you know what thing I'm not going to do, Jalen Rose? One thing I'm not going to do like, oh, millennials have it so easy. It's so hard to communicate with them. They're so obsessed with social media and their phones. They don't know how to work hard. They don't understand the world. I cannot stand that, like,
well, hold on,
intergenerational. Don't do it.
Well, some of that is true.
No, Jalen, it's not.
Some of that is
not true.
So there are some young people that aren't being paid to do so, that spend way too much time and energy on social media.
That's
when
fine.
They could be practicing a craft, improving in academics.
That's fine.
Improving at whatever they're passionate about.
That's no different than any other generation.
Correct.
It's no different than any other
I'm
generation.
here to start a new rule.
Oh, you got a
based
new
on
rule?
this competition.
You got a new rule?
I wish, for example, on IG, there was a limit to what you can post, how many, and a limit to what you can like. Imagine if you only get certain amount of likes a day. Then you had to be selective about actually what you did. For you could just do it unlimited, to me it has no merit at that point. What are your thoughts?
I like that a lot. And our friend and colleague Kevin Wilds came up with this. Once a week, super like. You could drop a super like on somebody once a week. I love that idea.
I really wish.
Hit at us, Instagram.
I really wish that.
I do like the idea of limiting the posts, especially stories. If I see you've got 35 little story dots, I ain't watching any of them. Come on now. Jalen Rose, the Houston Rockets showed a little signs of life last night against the Trailblazers. James Harden and company beat the Trailblazers 111-103. Jalen, do you think the Rockets can turn the season around?
I don't think that they could get to the level where they're going to host a playoff series at home, but they'll be a dangerous playoff team if healthy. You have the reigning MVP in James Harden. Chris Paul, we already know what he's able to accomplish out there on the floor. He played well. He had a triple-double.
Yep.
Capella, there's a reason why they gave him a big contract. The key for this team is the depth. I can rely on Eric Gordon, but the other players are now giving them quality minutes. That's why they won their game. Nene, Gerald Green. So they're going to need those guys if they're going to make a long run to continue to improve. But more importantly, I just feel like this team needs to make a move.
Yes.
I think that really would give it a different facelift if they're able to add like a rotation player that can either lock down on D and or make a three, because they need one more guy, in my opinion.
Could you see Trevor Ariza? I know we talk about him going to the Lakers. Could we see him back in a Rockets uniform?
Possible. And I talk about the balance of power a lot, and you know how I really don't love the fact that we're talking about a player currently on a team getting paid $15 million to play.
I wonder what the plan was in the first place.
But we all know he's not going to finish the season with that team.
What was the plan in the first place? Did y'all really think you're going to make the playoffs, Phoenix Suns? Do you think that Trevor Ariza was the missing piece that was going to bring you guys into the playoffs?
Well, the plan for him
the lottery?
is to get my bread.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at him.
You know
I just think from the Suns, like, what were they really doing?
So like now, think about it. He's being recruited right now.
Oh yeah,
he's a healthy scratch.
He's got a lot of text messages
right now.
He got a lot of text messages.
It's gonna be interesting to see. Is he going to go home to California and play for the Lakers, or is he going to go back to Houston where they put them in State Farm commercials?
Chris Paul isn't having a great year. He's got 3 more years on his contract. You mentioned he had a triple-double last night. Do you think we've seen the best of Chris Paul?
The best of Chris Paul, not yet. He's still a guy that I could trust to get me close to 20 points and close to 10 dimes. Like, his floor game and his toughness still exists. And he does a lot of things that doesn't measure up in the stat sheet. Like, he's a terrific leader. He guards multiple spots. He can now make range 3-point shots off the dribble as well as off the catch. So I think he still has a lot of great basketball left in him.
Do you think the Rockets, what are the chances out of 100 that they miss the playoffs?
They're not missing the playoffs. I say 10% chance.
Okay, I agree with that. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. Well, I'm glad you mentioned toughness because Rudy Gobert is about to go vigilante in the National Basketball Association. Rudy Gobert's upset, Jalen Rose. Let's just see what Rudy Gobert had to say about the way he's being officiated. Here's what he had to say. Quote, "Tonight someone grabbed my arm, pulled me down. That was a very dangerous play, and I got called for the foul. If I got to do justice myself, I'm going to do justice myself. And it's going to get ugly.
Up in here. Ugly! In here.
So this is the play. Steven Adams pulled him down. Definitely pulled him down by the arm. And this call was on Gobert. Jalen Rose, do you think Rudy Gobert is going to go vigilante and just start handing out justice?
Well, if you look at the score, they were down 25. So I just think there's a level of frustration.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz aren't sneaking up on anybody this year. Donovan Mitchell was amazing last year, leading the team into the playoffs. But now teams see them coming. And they have to find ways to manufacture offense. It seems like they have so many times during the game where they just struggle to score. And a lot of that is Rudy Gobert. Like, they need him to be putting up those 15 and 20-point games to match rebounds.
Here's what's not going to happen. Rudy Gobert is not going to go do justice against Steven Adams. Okay? That's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. Steven Adams is a stout human being. He's big and he's strong and he's tough.
But this isn't an MMA fight. So I see him looking to be more physical. And the Jazz, remember last year, it seemed like teams were picking on Ricky Rubio. Mm-hmm. And they were giving him a little cheap shot, giving him a little elbow here and there. And the team had to own it. I think now this is the moment for them to finally say, you know what, we got to start playing better basketball.
Yep. So, Jalen.
What up, Dow?
Michael Wilbon. We always say that we're the second best looking duo at ESPN, second only to Tony and Mike. You worked with Michael Wilbon for years on Countdown. He's a mentor to you, a friend of yours. He was mad at you yesterday. Let's listen to him.
Spears of this network and this company, Steph Curry and Jalen Rose. These three people are my friends. I know them well. I'm with them. We have discussions all the time. I know their intellects. Don't do this. Don't come out and say, we saw these pictures are kind of grainy, they're black and white. Happened before I was born. Because does that mean you don't believe in slavery? Does that mean you don't believe in the Revolutionary War? Did it not happen because it didn't happen on your watch? Don't do this. So you guys are too smart. Don't do. You're supposed to be.
Are you saying Jalen Rose?
Jalen, I listen to Jalen today. These are my guys.
Rose?
If you are as woke as you say, if you are as technologically savvy as you appear to be, don't do this.
This is a
because you're saying, I don't believe in history. The hell with history, because it didn't happen while I was looking at my cell phone watch.
It's a very small step to becoming a Holocaust denier or a slavery denier.
Don't do it. They better not. Mark Spears, don't leave Spears out of this.
I don't know him.
Yeah,
you know him.
I know him. You're not left out of this, Spears.
That
no one who believes this.
Commercial
You
of
guys
Kyrie
are too
Irving
smart.
and his dad.
Don't do that.
Kyrie Irving's dad thinks the world is flat?
And neither does Kyrie. He doesn't.
Jalen Rose.
That was great theater.
Jalen Rose, do you believe slavery happened?
Yeah, he went extreme on that.
Do you believe slavery happened?
He was upset.
Do you believe the Revolutionary War happened?
Here's my answer to that. And as you mentioned, like, we have so much love and respect.
We're playing.
We have so much love for and respect for Tony and Mike.
Of course.
I'm not going to go back with an answer to create a debate or a back and forth. But here's what I will do.
He cares about you.
I have more remnants in facts that slavery exists than a man walking on the moon. How about that?
What? Well, NASA wants to invite you to Houston to go look at some moon rocks.
I'm good.
You're not going to Houston to look at some moon rocks?
I'm not getting off the ground unless it's an airplane.
What if we go to Treasure afterwards?
I'll consider it.
Okay, good. I want to thank Marcus Spears for coming on the podcast.
I'm glad Tony and Mike even know my name.
I know. I want to thank Tony and Mike for mentioning this show.
Wow. I'm glad he was watching. That's love.
Yeah, he's watching ESPN too.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's how they prep. Remember, your favorite show's favorite show, Jalen and Jacoby. We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that, KRS?
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.
All I care about is my nipples. Seriously.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough. But getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp worthy. Goodyear, more driven.